predictions for next week in the world of Rugby League. We're now going to wrap up the show with some quiz recommendations and a little bit of information about how you can support the show as well. So it's show wrap-up time for the 185th time, and that has become customary in the Super League pod. We're going to have a little bit of fun with a little bit of a quiz. Now, I'd completely forgotten to write a quiz, so I'm glad that you hadn't, Alan, and you can test me and see if I do better than I did last time I was quizzed, because I was abysmal a couple of weeks ago. So
yeah, you didn't have a great week, did you? So we'll see. So there's no great theme to this, I have to say, but it's based on a few bits and pieces that's been in the news. So I've got 4 questions, and we'll see how you get on. So question number 1. So Joel Tompkins is off to Hull KR. I don't know if you knew that. You've heard a whisper.
Yeah.
But how many ex-Wigan players are in KR's squad at the moment before Joel arrives?
Before Joel arrives? Well, the squad's bloody huge, isn't it? They've got about 40 players, all of which are hovering around Championship, top end of Championship. They've basically got 40 middle eights players. Right, Danny Tickle is 1.
Yes.
James Greenwood is 2. Right. Danny Tickle. There's probably got to be someone else. Lee Jewett. He's in the he's at Hull KR, isn't he? That's 3. 3. I'm going to go with 3. Those 3.
That's the 3 I had. There you go. Good start.
Good start for Mark.
Good start. I'll give you 3 marks for that.
Excellent.
Okay, so question about Whitehaven. So obviously they're in financial dramas at the moment, but it wasn't always like that. So Whitehaven's record crowd at the recreation ground. I want you to have a stab at what their record crowd is. I'll give you a little bit of leeway either way on this one.
Okay.
I can tell you what year it was if you like. I don't know if that'll help.
I'm guessing it was in the 50s.
It was 1960. It was against Wakefield Trinity in the Challenge Cup.
I'm going to guess at 14,500.
14.5. Okay. I think you're a bit too far out. The actual crowd was 18,650.
Wow.
I think that's a bit far.
No, I agree, yeah. I'm impressed by that.
Considering that
fit that many in, yeah.
Well, it holds 7,500 now. So
yeah, but that's just reduced capacity due to safety.
Yeah, exactly.
It's exactly the same, just reduced capacity due to safety requirements.
Well, it's like when there were 100,000 at Bradford. It's like, it's they were standing all over each other. But there you go. Okay, so the third one's slightly at a tangent, and it's linked to your restarting of your Instagram feed. The Midland Hotel in Morecambe.
Okay.
What year did it open?
Well, it reopened.
No, I meant originally. Originally.
It was 1933.
It was 1933.
Did you expect me not to know that?
I wasn't sure whether you'd know that, actually. It was one of those I thought, well, if you don't know, you might get in a bit of trouble maybe, but there you go. No, 1933, yeah. Very good.
1933 is the Midland Hotel.
You're going to tell me it's written in a huge type over the door now or something?
No, I've probably got 2 or 3 books on the shelves behind me that I've got things about him, but I didn't open any of them to do that because I answered it quite quickly and confidently.
You did.
As you should note. Yeah. No, I mean, it's my happy place, isn't it? It's one of the favourite places I've got in the whole world.
There you go.
So obviously, big fan of that.
But you're doing very well so far. So the last one. So this is I think this is quite a tricky one. But anyway, so England have announced their squad for the Denver Test against New Zealand. So the first time that New Zealand toured was in 1907 and 1908, and they came to Great Britain.
Hold on, I've pulled this Midland Hotel book off the shelf now. I think it was the 3rd of August 1933 they opened, but
No bonuses.
There was a previous hotel there that opened in 1847, I think.
See, I'm just looking at the Art Deco beauty of it. That's all. But
oh yeah, the current Midland Hotel.
The current iteration. Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway,
sorry.
Off architecture.
I'll put the book back.
Put the book back. we must start a separate podcast for all that. You see, Emma might get into that one. You might have your.
Me and Emma have plans for a podcast of our own next year. As a bit of a tease for the SLP listeners, we're going to do a podcast to celebrate the 20th anniversary of our favourite British sitcom, Spaced. It's going to be called Slices of Fried Gold. There you go.
Brilliant. Oh God, go. I'm looking forward to
that. That's over a year off. So. Coming to your ears September 2019. Anyway, question 4.
Just an advanced preview. But yeah, we've really digressed here. Okay, so as I said, England's squad has been announced for the test against New Zealand. But the first time that New Zealand toured, in 1907 and 1908, they came to these shores, but they also played Australian teams and a team from Sri Lanka. In Sri Lanka, presumably on the way. Obviously, when we go over to Denver, we'll be playing one match and then coming back. How many matches did New Zealand play on that tour? And I'll give you three either way.
So on that tour in total, including the game in Sydney.
So the whole 1907-1908 tour. So the games, the tests, all the games against club sides. Everything.
And did they play in Australia again on the way back as well? I think they might have done.
Yes, they did.
Okay. I'm going to go 32 games.
Way under. They played 46 matches on that tour. Can you just imagine playing 46 matches on a tour? That's unbelievable. Obviously, it was a great money spinner, which is why they kept playing.
Yeah, well,
yeah,
exactly. It was the first time a lot of those players would have been getting paid to playing rugby, won't it? So
exactly. Yeah. I mean that obviously that question is partly inspired by the Denver test, but it's also I've been listening to Rugby Reloaded as well, which has been really interesting last few weeks. So yeah,
that is
46 matches.
Out there. Our growing ranks of competitors. Driving us out of business. But anyway, so I did well on the questions that were.
You did really well. Yeah, I would. I think that's
I got
3 on the first one.
I got 4 out of 6. I make it from the marking.
Yeah, I made that 4 out of 6 too. So there you go, over 50%. So you can't argue with that.
Excellent. Thanks for that one. Okay, SLP recommends. I have last week. I'd lost my way completely. I had one for last week's show and I'd completely forgotten about it by the time we did the show on the Monday night. When last Saturday I went to Lancaster with my friends and we went to a pub that was a relatively new pub that I'd not been in before. It was called the Stonewell Tap in Lancaster. Sort of it's hard to describe where it is. Google it if you're in Lancaster. It wasn't cheap. The beers weren't particularly cheap, but they were particularly nice. Really good range. The girl behind the bar was very knowledgeable and friendly and helpful, and all that sort of stuff. So if you like craft beer or real ales, both are well served there in the Stonewell Tap in Lancaster. And also another alcohol related one. I'm not a big gin drinker. I probably drank gin twice ever in my life until yesterday when we went to the Midland Hotel 10th Anniversary Gin Festival, where they were serving the 10th anniversary gin that had been made, Seahorse number 10 gin that had been made to celebrate the birthday of the reopening of the Midland Hotel. And so it was like a gin festival thing, and I'm a big fan, it turns out, of gin and tonic with lemon and with some sort of herb in it, because I had one that was served with lemon and rosemary, very, very refreshing, very, very nice, and one that was served with lemon and coriander, again, delightful. So
wow.
So throw some herbs in your gin and tonic, get your slice and get your herbs. I'm not sure if they all go, I'm not saying, but experiment, give it a go, it was nice. That's my recommends. What are yours?
I don't really have one this week, but I was looking through League Express, and it just reminded me that Batley Bulldogs are doing their More in Common support match this week, where it's free entry to the game, and there's kind of lots of activities linked to the More in Common and great get-together things that they're doing in memory of the MP Joe Cox.
Of course,
So there's lots of stuff going on in Batley this weekend at the game against the Eagles. So if you are in the area and you're not heading to up to Cumbria or whatever, and you've got a bit of time, then pop down there. There's stuff all afternoon. So that kind of thing is the kind of thing we should be supporting. So if you're available, get down to the Mount.
Okay. Next week on the show, it's Tim G. We want your England 17s to discuss, and also during the week, I explained at the top of the show that it's Emma's degree show, showing off all the work from a Masters in Architecture. So I don't know how active I'll be on Thursday night during the game, but make sure you look out for the game review tweets coming up. I need to remember to check the fixtures because they all moved around with TV games being announced and stuff, and some of the automatic tweets to get game reviews are on different days, so I need to fix that up. People can make donations to the show, paypal.me/SuperLeaguePod. Donations will be used for putting money back into the show for me to help some of the running costs for the hosting of the show and that sort of thing, and also we'll be giving some money back to the community game with what's left over at the end of the season. We have some t-shirts that people can be rewarded with if they make a donation of £20 or more. We also have some pint glasses that arrived this week. They did not go well. They don't look great. A few of them were smashed in the poly packaged box that they were sent in. I took a punt on who we used for them. It wasn't a proper supplier, it was like an individual craft person. So I've got pint glasses, and they'll go to anyone who makes, along with a t-shirt, to anyone who makes over, I'm going to scale it back to £30 if you've donated over £30, because the pint glasses are not great, but I've only got 8 of them have survived.
I was going to say, how many survived?
I ordered 12 and 8 of them have survived.
Blimey, that's not a good way.
But anyway, it was. You take your chances, don't you?
You do.
Okay, people can get in touch with the show and share the show through all the social media platforms. That would be really, really appreciated. With all the rivals that we've got emerging now, make sure the SLP family stay strong and get people listening, get people involved. We're the only show that shares fan reviews from across all the different clubs and from all the different supporters, and that's our USP now with that and the stats. And make sure you get people in and get your fan reviews in, because that's what we want the focus to be on. But you can keep in touch with the show on social media through @SuperLeaguePod on Twitter and Instagram. It's facebook.com/SuperLeaguePod. If you want to send us an email or anything, superleaguepod@gmail.com. And don't forget to look out for those tweets with the Google form for the match reviews after each game. Head to our Twitter feed and you'll definitely see them there. If you're lucky, me or Sarah will put something on the Facebook page. Superleaguepod.com is where you can find the blog. You can read your blog that you wrote about the double-header semi-final on there, Alan, as well as finding out all the details about the sponsorship links and how to donate to the show and all that sort of stuff on there. You can search for the show on Spreaker, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Podcast Addict app, Leaguecast Android app, or through YouTube. You can also go on rugbyleaguemedia.com and find us listed there if you've not found a convenient place to listen to us and you've stumbled across us some other way to listen to this episode. So make sure you find the most convenient way to listen, subscribe, leave reviews, like, share, all of that good stuff, and make sure the word of the SLP family is spread far and wide. All that leaves for us to do now, Alan, is to thank you again for being on another episode of the Super League Pod. It's been a pretty serious one with some hot news topics we've had to cover, but it's been an enjoyable one all the same. I hope you've enjoyed yourself.
Oh, absolutely. I always enjoy it. And yeah, we got a little rant, a mini rant. But maybe if this run continues, we might get a full-blown one in a couple of weeks' time. You never know your luck.
Yeah, it's still not got us low as it is that game against Widnes in the Super 8s when we won the Grand